Okay? So,
Sounds good.
yeah. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Disabilities Redefined with Dr. Faulkner. I am here with the dynamic trio. And believe me, I am super excited. First of all, I'm going to give them all introductions, and then I'm going to say what they do, but I think you can already conclude that it has something to do with dolls, those great, beautiful dolls in the background. Marsha Roberts, Rick Harrison, and Nick DeSomov. Did I get it right, Nick?
Got it.
They are the wonderful, wonderful team that is bringing us a doll for all. And Marsha, great to finally meet you. We've been speaking for quite some time now, so we're going to start with you.
We have.
What is this? What is this great project you three got going on over there in Chattanooga, Tennessee? For anybody out there who has not seen you on Instagram or seen these great dolls, what's going on?
Well, this started years and years ago. There was a young woman, actually she was a girl at the time, by the name of Aisha, and she had to have brain surgery. And while she was in the hospital, she was like 7 at the time, she saw that her disability was hidden behind her hairline, her scar.
Uh-huh.
She saw all these kids with very visible disabilities, and they didn't have a doll that looked like them. And over a period of time, she became very passionate about being able to have a doll that could be altered for kids with disabilities. And her mom were very persistent. They looked for a couple of years until they found somebody to take on the project. And so that was me as a business person, and then Rick Harrison as an inventor and an artist. And Rick had already come up with the idea of an 18-inch doll that could be multi-articulated. In fact, Rick, why don't you tell them how you came up with that?
Hey, hello, Rick. You got a double whammy introduction there.
Yeah, it always happens. So really, in a case of, I've always wanted things to be better than they were. Even when I was playing with toy soldiers or something, I cut the arms off, put pins in so they could move better. And you having been in England, I used to buy Little Britain's figures, and they had several figures that would move.
Mm-hmm.
Like the guy with binoculars, who I thought was just the coolest figure. He could actually look and then put them down. That was great. It's one added thing that nobody else did. And then years later, I became a sculptor's apprentice when I was age 12, and ended up working for him for about 20 years, and intermingled with building houses and doing things like that that had to do with construction and design.
Now, where was this at?
This was in Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up near on the Georgia Tech campus down in Atlanta. And the sculptor I work for was actually a professor in architecture there, which is another one of my favorite things. So when I wasn't doing sculpture work for him, I was working on his house. But the point is, I got to a point of knowing something about design. I could read blueprints from early on. And so when I saw toys that they could do something better, I figured out how to make them do better.
Right.
And when American Girl dolls came out, you know, they're 18-inch, but they only bend at the shoulders and the hips. So, I mean, you know, they're like this.
Right.
And they got all these accessories that they can't interrelate with. And
Right.
so Rick came up with the idea of making a multi-articulated 18-inch doll.
Right.
And the reason this was such a good fit with Aisha's idea was that at all the different points of articulation, they could be more easily customized for kids with limb differences.
Yeah, but what I was so, and again, I've been fascinated with this project for a year or so, Marsha, when I first got in touch with you, but I did not understand until you all sent those blueprints over everything that went into making a doll.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think that we'll probably, right now we're probably going to edit in some of those blueprints that it looked like a house. I got the image and I was like, wait a minute here. I started going. I live in New York City, as you all know. I started going from one neighbor to the next. I'm like, do you see what? I mean, this is a doll, and they were like, what? Everybody in the whole building was a little, shocked. And then I got scared. I'm like, wait a minute. Legally, can I show this now? Because I didn't know if it was under, some sort of, trademark or whatever. So, well, we won't tell anybody about that. But at the end of the day, it was fascinating to look at those blueprints, as you said, and just see how much goes into a doll. Not only a doll, but a functioning doll that is missing a limb. So something that also caught my attention was these dolls are made, but you also have a prosthetic, they have they have these artificial prosthetic legs going on with them. So
Right.
fascinating. But Rick, you were also an illustrator too. Is that you're the one illustrating these dolls, right?
Yeah, I'm the one that's posing them and putting them together. I sculpted the heads, and I sketched them out a lot first. Then
Right.
And it's a funny thing. I have to put this in. The fact that you're in New York City. My great grandfather was actually a toy maker in New York City. He lived in the Bronx, and he was nicknamed Mr. Geppetto. And he would make all the toys for the people in the neighborhood. And I know I got a little bit of that in my ability. My father was an engineer to do blueprints. And so these drawings I did up first, and that's when Nick came along. And he knew how to really put this into CAD work and into modern stuff. And the drawings you saw were those.
Yes.
And
I saw those, yes.
I took it to a new level of trying to get it manufactured, because we were told, go to China like everybody else. I just didn't want to do that. No, not out of any anger or anything. It just, I wanted to make it myself. And so they're almost saying that it's not an option. You can't do it yourself. And I said, no, yeah, you can. We'll figure it out. It's been done before. And even one of my many jobs I've had, I was also liking toys like I have. Got into dealing with antique collectibles and antique toys. And one thing I came across was, maybe some of your viewers will know, that there's a doll called the Showing Hut doll. It's a wooden doll that actually is articulate. And it was started making them in 1909 in Philadelphia. They eventually opened a store in New York, but for the most part, it was all made in Philadelphia. And you can still get the little kids' pianos that are made by Showing Hut.
Oh, yes. I do know. Yes, I am aware of them. Yes.
And
but are they making them still? They making them? Are they still making those dolls?
I know I've seen some look fairly new.
Okay.
If not, maybe somebody just bought the name and making them.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, great story. So we'll get back to you about the manufacturing. So now, Nick, if I'm understanding it, Marsha, it was your idea. Rick, you kind of got it together and put all these blueprints and amazing work together. And then it goes to Nick now, who is making the, I'm going to try to, CAD. Is it an acronym? What is that an acronym for? This is not my field. I'll be the first one to say it. So
it stands for computer aided design.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that
And you have to have this to be able to manufacture.
Yeah,
So-
it has to be. Yeah, the files need to be in a particular format that it's really hard to translate from a organic to what you would call a solid that certain companies or certain industries use to make products.
that was what was in my head most of the day. So how were you guys going to do that then?
Well, first off, I want to emphasize how difficult it was to find Nick.
Okay.
We looked for Nick for over 2 years.
Well, you found him. You found him with Mickey Mouse, was it? Having coffee with him.
That's right. He moved from Los Angeles.
I quit the mouse.
Everybody, we're having a joke, but Nick actually was a major player with Disney. What was it? Manufacturing with Disney toys, was it?
I worked for Walt Disney Imagineering.
Imaginary, yeah, okay.
That was the theme park division.
Okay.
And got to work with a lot of attraction development and design and and blue sky development for future projects.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But my background, in, as far as the doll is concerned, I'm a sculptural industrial designer,
Mm-hmm.
which specifically is I can work with sculptural material for manufacturing purposes. So I specialize in taking organic and making it manufacturable.
So when
So
you
things like dolls or sculptures or things that need to be mass produced.
so when you say organic, what does that like? What would that?
Well, organic shape would be like a sculpture of a human figure.
Okay.
And it has a lot of compound or doubly curved surfaces, compound curves.
Yes.
Very hard to do in your traditional CAD programs. So usually it's something that needs to be scanned or sculpted in a digital polygonal type program,
Mm-hmm.
which makes it very organic. But those are two different types of computer models, and they're not compatible with each other. And so through my past jobs, I figured out a process to make those compatible.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay. So, as a social scientist, I want to get into the sociological aspect. I'm asking a lot of questions about how things are made and whatever, because when I started getting the visuals today, Marsha, I kind of got a little interested in that. I usually am not. That's not something I'm at all interested in. But again, I was kind of shocked at the blueprints of the doll. I was quite naive. I thought, okay, arm, head, body, throw it together, but obviously it's not that way. But let's go about the social psych. This little girl had an amazing idea. The dolls, with her disability being hidden, no one could see that, but other people you can see, other children you can see. Right. So what is the overall meaning that we want to put forth about these wonderful creations being made?
Well, I have to say that when I was first approached with the project, I had no idea that a doll didn't already exist for kids with disabilities. Mm-hmm. And when I researched it, I was really appalled. I mean, that these kids didn't have a representation of themselves.
Yes.
And so one of the first things that Rick and I did when he had a very early prototype was we went to the children's hospitals here. And the physical therapist, occupational therapist, and child life specialist, they said that this will be a game changer. They got so excited, and they told us all the kind of things that they can utilize these dolls for.
That was something I wanted to say. So is this doll also going to be, for example, used in educational purposes too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things that the child life specialist taught us, that they want special dolls that are altered to show how like a tracheotomy is put in, mm-hmm. and the cleaning and care of it at home, mm-hmm. or a shunt for chemotherapy and stomach feeding tube and those kinds of things. And so they expanded our understanding of how widely these dolls are needed. And they said to be able with physical therapy to show realistically how a child would be moving during physical therapy without hands-on, without being able to do it with the doll, they said that's just going to be a game changer for them. And so that's really, in my youth, I was a nurse. Mm-hmm. And so when I found out that had this type of medical need, then I was in all the way.
Okay. So do you think that's going to be like a big market, the hospitals and the children? I mean, not just for the medical quality of being able to use this to learn for future occupational therapists and PAs and doctors, but also in children's hospitals and things of that. Yeah. So that's an excellent, I was thinking about that, where's this marketing going to go to? Have you all thought about, I'm jumping ahead of questions now, but since we're here, have you all thought about the marketing? I think you have a launch or something coming up. We
do. Yeah. We actually did launch on Indiegogo. And so we got the initial funding that we needed to make, go to the next step. And so we did make our goal. And so we're on Indiegogo on demand. And so we can continue to raise funds. And
now, where can our viewers find Indiegogo? Where can they find that out? Give us a website or a link or something
I'll give you a link.
Okay.
But when somebody looks up Indiegogo and then they go for it's the doll for all.
Okay. Perfect. All right.
And but now it's time for us to have these dolls in the hands of kids that have the same disability so that people can really visualize exactly what we're doing. And so that's going to be happening in the next month or so.
Excellent. Now, I'm kind of jumping ahead, but have you all thought about like naming these dolls? Are you just gonna, for example, don't laugh when I said like Barbie. Okay, I don't know, but certain dolls do have, like certain dolls do have.
They're like people to us. So behind us here we have Evie and we have Max.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't know if that was going to be the name of. Is that going to be a given name, or are you just going to name each one, or is it going to be up to the actual child to name?
Well, we'll have names as we have different characters.
Okay.
And then
Yeah. Okay.
Can always rename them.
It's part of the different levels that we'll be doing. Some of them, they buy just one of these particular dolls, or we can also do custom ones that can even be made to look like somebody.
Oh, nice. Okay. Wow.
Price range, but so that's up to them. At that point, that sort of gets into the manufacturing thing we'll get into. But it's I think things are really changing in that realm.
Right. Okay. So let's swing back there because. Manufacturing, are you guys going to keep it local in Chattanooga? I mean, do you want to open like a big factory over? I mean, how is that going to see itself to fruition to where it's going to be, this doll is going to change the face of dolls?
Well, actually, it is going to be here in Chattanooga.
Nice, great. I love that.
I know, I love it too. When we discovered a way to affordably do prototyping, and short-run manufacturing, we realized that other entrepreneurs could utilize that as well. And so we actually started another company by the name of Extract that is going to be making the dolls. Nick has 3D printed in a more vinyl-like resin than is normally found in 3D printing. And so the new body is on Evie right now, and so we've got all the kinks worked out of it, and she's looking great. So the initial dolls will actually be 3D printed and customized as the. Well, let me show you something. Are you familiar with the term Lucky Thin?
Yes.
Yes. We love the Lucky Thin people. They have been so supportive of us. And so we will actually have a number of, let me put it where you can see it.
Yep, I see it.
A number of different Lucky Fins that are available and that kids and their parents can order. Mm-hmm. There we go.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah. Go closer. Move it closer toward Nick because you keep going. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Gorgeous.
And we will have 7 different versions of Lucky Fins.
Nice.
And then also where a kid could have above the knee or below the knee amputee. Mm-hmm. And so initially, like I said, they will be 3D printed. And then as we build momentum, after we get past about 500, then we will start. There's a short run manufacturing method that we've developed that will be making them right here.
Excellent. That's great. Now, what have we thought about, like for example, if I wanted to order one, and keep it, which I probably will want to order one whenever I can, and keep it with me here in New York and put it in the show and what price point are we for people who will want to start saving, to buy these dolls?
Well, if you wanted to order an Evie or Max just the way they are, they're $275.
Oh, but that's not outrageous price. No, that's not an outrageous price at all. Yeah.
And to get a doll configured exactly like your child, then that's $350. Oh no, wrong. $325.
$325. Okay. So that's pretty affordable.
One of the things that we feel strongly about is the fact that this is a legacy doll. This is
Mhm.
something that's going to be just like the child. And so it's going to be passed down from generation to generation.
Right. You know, I
It's
was
not a throwaway doll.
no, absolutely not. And actually, I'm super excited. Also, again, I thought about, should I ask this, should I not, should I ask this, should I not? The wonderful field of editing will allow us, if you all are not going to answer the question. Have you thought about also marketing it to psychological organizations? Because this
Yes.
could really also be a very good um, social tool for children who are having psychological issues, unlike Aisha, is it, who had a
Aisha.
Aisha, who
Mhm.
had a, but a lot of children who have visible disabilities, it actually could, and not only that, but non-visible disabilities. A doll that is so special like this could be used in a wide variety of ways to help kids. So
What the child therapist has told us is that because our dolls are are so physically expressive,
right.
a child who's having a hard time verbalizing could actually use the doll to express their feelings that they're having a hard time expressing.
Yes, the dolls are will be incredibly relatable to many children, which in fact will stimulate communication,
Yes.
and that's great. So
They're very expressive in what you can do with them.
I see that. So okay, well, this has been beyond amazing. Um, where do we go from here? Whoever's watching this show is seen on YouTube. We have a much broader audience here in New York City. So our YouTube channel is great. Instagram is great, but we always do very well with our ratings here in New York, where the show is actually seen on TV. So for everybody out there watching here, what do they do to get in touch with you, or Nick, or Rick, and find out about these dolls and where they can be purchased?
It's our website is thedollforall.com.
Okay, and that
And there you'll have there's a place to contact us.
Yeah,
And plus,
okay.
there's also a link to Indiegogo.
okay, excellent. I was going to ask. Okay, and then pre-order. Have you started that already, or is that?
Yes. Yes,
Excellent.
that's on Indiegogo. Mhm.
Okay, I'm not familiar with Indiegogo. I don't. Yeah,
It's kind of like Kickstarter.
but yes, I think I did post. Was that the original Indiegogo? Was that the original fund?
Started on Kickstarter and then we went to Indiegogo.
I think that's the one we were promoting here for you. In the beginning, we were promoting it for you. It was Kickstarter. Yes, that's why Indiegogo was new to me. Okay, listen, it has been a pleasure. You guys, let's start with Marsha, you, then go to Rick and Nick. We're going to give you the last word. Let's just wrap it up really quickly within 1 or 2 minutes of what you'd like to say to our audience.
Well, everybody who follows you understands the whole concept of disabilities redefined.
Yes.
And I feel that our dolls fit right in there because to us, whether it's a doll with disabilities or without disabilities, it's the same thing. You know, all kids are the same on the inside.
Yeah.
And so we're just thrilled that we're in a position that we can start bringing these kids a doll that really represents them.
Oh.
And it just warms our hearts. We've heard from so many parents who say, it's high time, thank you so much. And we're so thankful after all these years that we are in a position to start bringing these dolls to these kids.
Okay. Rick?
Yeah, I would like to say that one of the interesting things to me is, in having dealt in antique and collectibles, was that a lot of the markets are real focused and have tunnel vision on what they collect. Like there's action figure collectors specific to this, and there's doll collectors. There's even certain kinds of doll collectors, and they never cross paths. But one thing I wanted to do with this is really an action figure as much as it is a doll, and you can really do a lot of things with it that you can't do with other characters, even stop action animation or
Right.
whatever.
Well, not only that, but Marsha and I were talking about this today. It's a doll for all. I mean, anybody can enjoy the doll. We do want to make that statement. This is not going to be, just marketed to a niche. This is a doll that anyone can enjoy. Okay, Nick, you're going to wind us up, buddy. What's going on?
Well, I would like to say these are truly artisan dolls. They're designed here, made here, manufactured here in the United States, and which is really hard to find something that's genuinely put together, like that's with a creative force, like what this group of people are, and I think this is just the beginning for us. This doll is just the tip of the iceberg of what we're going to be doing. So
Absolutely.
Yes, I think it is amazing. I tell you, I was so excited about it. I'm not going to lie. I usually do a little bit of research on all of my guests. I didn't do research on any one of you. I got those doll figures and those blueprints today, and that's what captivated my attention. So, my bad. I only wanted to talk about the dolls. I didn't. Yeah.
Us too, lad. Us too.
Yeah. So, but it was, you all are great. You gave a great interview. And what can I say? Good luck. I mean, I will go on back on the website, and I'm definitely going to order one. So when I get my doll, I will have you all back, and the end of the year, we should do a Christmas show or something and see how things are going and promote the doll then. Yeah. So thank you very much.
So nice to meet you finally.
It is. It really is. It's nice to meet you. I think it's been a year and a half or so we've been trying to make this work. So this has been great. What can I say? I think we have less than a minute now, so we're gonna sign off. Okay.